Okay, thank you, gentlemen and ladies. You are welcome to this webinar, this green webinar organized by Green Initiative for Humanitarian Aid and Development, GreeniHAD, in commemoration of the World Environment Day 2024. This year, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking extensively in this webinar. So before we go further, I can see that our guest speaker has already joined the webinar. So I want to introduce the guest speaker. I want to introduce the guest speaker and tell us something about the guest speaker before we continue. Thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our guest speaker for the day is no other person but Tukura Mohammed Soba. Tukura Mohammed Soba is a young, passionate forester and a climate action advocate. He is a lecturer in the Department of Forestry and Wildlife Management at Nasarawa State University, Kefi, Nigeria. He's also a volunteer for several environmental-based organizations where he fosters and advocate for sustainable development. However, Mr. Tukura is a PhD candidate in the University of Maiduguri, specifically in forest ecosystem management, where his research focuses on X-raying the ecology and the carbon sequestration potentials of indigenous tree species in Nigeria. Tukura obtained his Bachelor's of Forestry and Wildlife degree and Master's of Science degree, Forest Resources Management from the University of Maiduguri, Nigeria. He's a member of the Forestry Association of Nigeria, FAN, Wildlife Society of Nigeria, WISON, and African Precision Agriculture. Tukura is also a member and consultant of the International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, IITA, and the German Agency for International Cooperation. He's a mentor and supervises many students and youths in sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Tukura Mohammed Soba. Please, our guest speaker, can you unmute yourself? You have the floor now. Thank you.
Dr. Onyekachi and development, GreeniHAD, green webinar series to commemorate our World Environment Day and to my participants, ladies and gentlemen, time, and thank you for attending. Please, host, you can now share the slide with us. Our theme for this year World Environment Day is land restoration, desertification, resilience. That is the theme for year 2024 World Environment. Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, let me just make a brief description of the environment. That is, and factors and other factors that support growth and development of living organisms. Now, if you can turn to your right or left or back or forward, whatever you see within you, that you turn right, what you are seeing, if it is a building, that is is called built environment. That is within you is a tree, that is a biological environment. Or whatever within you, that is your environment. If it is your friend that is before you, that's a social environment, and so on. So, land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience are interconnected concepts that are crucial for achieving environmental stability. So, desertification, on the other hand, is the process of dry subhumid areas, resulting in the loss of productive land and ecosystem services. All those are components of environment that I mentioned earlier, starting from the bull. Even if it is market, whatever it is being constructed or is solidly depend on the land. Why land is the center or is the basis or condition for whatever we do on the earth surface or in our environment. So land restoration Hello, Dr. Onyekachi, can you hear me? Hello. Doctor.
Carry on, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, you can hear me, okay? Very good. The United Nations estimate that 1/3 of the world land is affected by desertification, affecting over 1 billion people worldwide. Land degradation and desertification are as a result of deforestation, soil salinization, soil erosion, climate change, human population growth and urbanization, unsustainable agriculture, mining and drilling, and pollution can lead to loss of biodiversity, reduce agricultural productivity, and increase poverty and migration. Furthermore, drought can have devastating impact on ecosystem and communities, including water scarcity, food insecurity, and economic losses. Land restoration and drought resilience strategies required a multifaceted approach that involves government, communities, and stakeholders working together to implement sustainable land management practices, restore degraded land, and promote ecosystem-based adaptation to drought. Land restoration aims to reverse the devastating effect of human activities, climate change, and natural disasters, which have resulted in widespread land degradation, desertification, and loss of biodiversity. Of course, the aim of our land restoration is to revitalize there are some techniques or strategies that that is to be adopted in order to restore our land. Number one is reforestation. Trees in order to conserve our land. Number two is conservation of soil. After that, we have establishing more protected areas. Next to that is agroforestry practices. Of course, agroforestry practices can go a long way in restoring our degraded land. Sustainable land management, copicing, farmer managed natural regeneration, wildlife introduction, water management, and planning. So I hope my audience are listening. They are with me.
Sir, we are with you, sir.
Okay, you are with me. It's okay. Then benefit of land restoration. These are some of the importance of some of the things we benefit from restoring our land. Number 2 is soil erosion prevention. Of course, water regulation, it can regulate our water cycling. It can help in mitigating climate change. It can improve agricultural productivity. It can enhance ecosystem services. Basically, whenever the ecosystem services when the ecosystem services will equally be effective as well. So it can equally help in socio-economic benefit. It can preserve our cultural heritage. It can reduce the disaster risks and improve human health. So these are some of the benefits, that's tangible benefit storing our land. And there are some case studies and examples of land restoration effort around the world. Of course, this land restoration has been practiced in some part of the world, and many people try it, and it worked perfectly for them. And there is a good result. Number 1 on the list is the Green Belt movement. Green Belt movement was initiated by Professor Wangari Maathai in Kenya. That she introduced, where she involved women and youth in conserving their immediate environment. Then, apart from that, full land restoration example effort that were made was the Great. Another one is reforestation in Costa Rica. Actually, reforestation is a replanting of trees in Costa Rica. There's the other one is Lanke, Australia, in Lanke, which then desertification. Nigeria is at risk of becoming a desert conservation condition because the impact of climate change is increasing. I mean, the impact of desertification kilometer is moving south from the is gradually moving from the north to the south, and it's consumed so many it consumes large area or large proportion of our land. Before now, it was only, it can be found within in northern state of Borno. And they started manifesting even at the central region of Nigeria, places like Niger, Plateau, and so on. They have so many distinct. They have it's manifesting there. So causes of this desertification are overgrazing, deforestation, soil erosion, salinization, climate change, human population growth and urbanization, agricultural practices, mining and drilling, pollution. These are some of the things that causes desertification, and these are things that of course we depend on them for our day-to-day activities. Then the challenges in land restoration and desertification mitigation and control are water scarcity. Number 1 is water scarcity. Of course, we have a limited water. We have problem with the water. Limited financial resources, which is also a common one, that is funding. Then another one is inadequate institutional capacity, climate change, population growth and urbanization. Land tenure and ownership of land is another major problem. You hire a land, you can't plant anything you want to plant there. If you, assuming you hire a land and you want to plant trees, the owner of the land may decide to tell you, no, you can't plant trees on my land because you have to make use of the land for maybe a year or two only. So another challenge that we have is limited access to technology and infrastructure. We have social and cultural factors, desertification as a global issue. Insecurity is another key challenge that we face. in terms of land restoration and desertification mitigation. Monitoring and evaluation is another big challenge. Policy and regulatory barriers, lack of political will, all these are the challenges that are faced with land restoration and desertification mitigation and control. Drought resilience. Of course, there is need to build a drought resilience, which involve implementing measures to enhance the ability of communities, ecosystem, and recover from drought. Yes, once there's an effect of drought, then there is no need to wait until when the effect of the drought has consumed everything in your surroundings. So there is need to work towards stopping and recovering the damage that has been. So in order to do that, there's a framework. There's a framework called Drought Resilient Framework, key component that has four key components. Number one is preparedness. So it's good to build capacity to anticipate and prepare for drought through early warning system, drought planning and management, and water management planning. Number two key component is to implement measures to mitigate the impact of drought, such as water rationing and conservation, crop management and agricultural support, emergency response, plan and humanitarian aid, recovery. That's number three component, recovery, supporting communities and ecosystems to recover from drought through rehabilitation program for affected population, ecosystem restoration and conservation, livelihood support, and economic recovery. The last component on the frame is adaptation, building long-term resilience through smart agriculture and agricultural extension, water harvesting and storage, resources management. So what is the solution for land restoration, desertification, mitigation, and control, and drought resilience? Is number one, sustainable land management. Number two, forest reforestation and afforestation, soil conservation, drought planning, drought tolerance crop, that's planting of drought tolerance crop, livestock management, ecological restoration, policy and legislation, community engagement and eradication, technology and innovation, community engagement, early warning system, water management, water harvesting, climate smart agriculture, agroforestry. All those are the solutions to the land restoration, desertification, mitigation, control, and drought resilience. By the time you adopt and apply all those things, all those particular items that I mentioned here, you will discover that they can go a long way in providing a solution to where we are today. So in conclusion, land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience are interconnected issues that require a comprehensive and sustainable approach to address the global challenges of land degradation, climate change, and water security. International cooperation, policy and institutional changes, and technological innovations are essential for achieving sustainable development goals and building resilience future. Before I end this, I want to use this media to appreciate my dean, Professor Okunsebo, for his support in order to make these presentations a successful one. Thank you for listening.
Thank you,
Tukura for that wonderful presentation. We really appreciate your time. Sincerely speaking, we appreciate your time. I don't know among the participants if we have any question. If you have any question from the participant, okay, Mary Ann, can you just unmute yourself and ask your question?
Okay, good morning. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Okay, I want to thank the speaker for this wonderful presentation. It was really educative. But my question goes like this. While you were talking about the solutions to land degradation, desertification, and drought, I picked a point where you talked about water harvesting. So please, can you throw more light on water harvesting? Thank you.
Okay, Tukura, are you still there? Hello, Tukura, are you still there? Okay, it seems we lost him. However, let me try to provide answer to that question. Of course, water harvesting is also a way a part of the solution, okay, to desertification, land restoration, and recovering of our land, degraded land. For instance, now, you discover that by the time during the rainy season, for instance, you can actually store water, okay, and use it next time. You can also do so many water management techniques whereby you look at the way you use water for so many things. For instance, in some countries, you find out that there are a number of minutes you are permitted to stay in a washroom, in your bathroom, okay? You can't use water anyhow, you can't waste water anyhow, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I don't know if I've been able to throw more light. Probably before we end, maybe our guest speaker will reconnect. But if I've been able to throw a little more light, okay, thank you. So, gentlemen and ladies, thank you for staying.
Yes, thank you very much, sir.
Okay, and this is the point we will be wrapping up this particular session. And we wish you all a happy World Environment Day. And GreeniHAD from this place will say, please behave sustainably. Let everything you are going to do, both in your office, at home, anywhere, be things that will promote sustainable environment. There will be things that will reduce impact on the environment. There should be habits that will promote a healthy environment, because where you have a healthy environment, you have healthy people. Thank you and God bless you. See you in the next edition of our Green webinar. Thank you.